Let's start with this judge in Virginia, the Eastern District of Virginia. It's called, right outside of Washington, D.C. This particular court, this courthouse in Old Town Alexandria, I'm quite familiar with it. It's not too far from where I hail these days. They have what's called the rocket docket. And what that means is you have a group of district court judges who do not let grass grow under their feet. And they move quickly, and they expect things to be briefed quickly. They expect oral arguments to, keep their cases in order. It's also a unique court in that so many of these cases, espionage cases, CIA cases, FBI cases, federal contractor cases, come through this court because, well, where are they? They're in the same district as the Pentagon. They're in the same district as the CIA in Northern Virginia. So they see a lot of things, and it's really hard to fool these guys. And so that's where I wanted to start here, in that courthouse. This morning, something took place, and my only concern is sometimes judges say things that they don't follow up, and I hope this judge follows up on his rhetoric, because it was excellent. And what took place here is there's a hearing where Manafort's team is challenging the constitutionality of what this special prosecutor, Mueller and so forth, are doing. A federal judge on Friday harshly rebuked, this is from Fox, special counsel Robert Mueller's team during a hearing for ex-Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort, suggesting they lied about the scope of the investigation, are seeking unfettered power, and are more interested in bringing down the president. Sounds like me. Maybe I should put a black robe on and go into that courthouse. You don't really care about Mr. Manafort, U.S. District Judge T.S. Ellis III told Mueller's team. You really care about what information Mr. Manafort can give you to lead you to Mr. Trump and an impeachment or whatever. Wow. As I said, this is what he said. Let's hope he follows up. Ellis demanded to see the unredacted scope memo, a document outlining the scope of the special counsel's Russia probe that congressional Republicans have also sought. He's saying, okay, I want to know exactly what your scope is. That's what's being challenged here. And as you'll see later on, they say, okay, we'll give you the redacted copy. So you're not giving me a redacted copy. I want to see all of it. The hearing, where Manafort's team fought to dismiss an 18-count indictment on tax and bank fraud-related charges, took a confrontational turn as it was revealed. Listen to this. At least some of the information in the investigation derived from an earlier Justice Department probe in the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Virginia. We've talked about this. Matter of fact, I think I've said multiple times, if Manafort did all this stuff, wouldn't they already know about it in the U.S. Attorney's Office? Wouldn't they already have known about it at the FBI? Maybe they looked at it, maybe they passed on it. That was some of the reporting that was out there. So what is the special counsel doing with that? And I guess the judge wants to know the same thing. He's saying, well, you're getting information from the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Virginia from years ago. Now again, we'll see how he ultimately rules on this. Manafort's attorneys argued the special counsel does not have the power to indict him on charges they have brought, and seem to find a sympathetic ear with Ellis. The Reagan-appointed judge asked Mueller's team where they got the authority to indict Manafort on alleged crimes dating back as far as 2005. These are rational, pertinent questions that we have asked right here. I mean, you're supposed to be investigating the campaign, Russian collusion, Russian interference, and so forth. What does it have to do with 2005 and all the rest of it? Now, the special counsel argues, as we pointed out here, that Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein granted them broad authority in his May 2, 2017 letter appointing Mueller to this investigation. But after the revelation that the team is using information from the earlier Department of Justice probe, Ellis said that information did not arise, quote unquote, out of the special counsel probe, and therefore may not be within the scope of that investigation. In other words, they didn't find information related to the probe. It was sitting in the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District. So that would not relate to the expanded powers that even Mueller's claiming, the judge is suggesting. We don't want anyone with unfettered power, he said. Mueller's team says its authorities are laid out in documents including the August 2017 scope memo, and that some powers are actually secret because they involve ongoing investigations and national security matters that cannot be publicly disclosed. Ellis seemed amused and not persuaded. Of course, these judges in this courthouse, in this federal district, have seen this stuff left and right. He summed up the argument of the special counsel's office as, quote, "We said this was what the investigation was about, but we are not bound by it, and we are lying." You see, he's saying they're making two arguments here. They're saying, look, we have this, you know, when we were told what to investigate and so forth and so on, but we're not bound by it. Well, he says, well, then you're kind of canceling, one's kind of canceling out the other. He referenced the common exclamation from NFL announcers saying, come on, man. The judge also gave the government 2 weeks to hand over the unredacted scope memo or provide an explanation why not, after prosecutors were reluctant to do so, claiming it has material that doesn't pertain to Manafort. You know what the judge said? I'll be the judge of that. And so Republicans have sought the whole memo unredacted, and the Justice Department has refused. So somebody needed to step in there and try and get to the bottom of this. I'm really hopeful this judge will not back down, will not start to curtail his demands. Somebody needs to get to the bottom of it. He should look at the entire scope memo, because that's what's being challenged here. And he's got his general frame of what's going on correct, that they're really going after Trump. Now they're beating the hell out of Manafort. They're trying to crush this guy. They're trying to tear him from limb to limb. They're trying to intimidate him. Remember, they went after his son-in-law. They went after one of his lawyers. They went after his press agent. They went into his home at 6 in the morning with guns drawn, absolutely outrageous and over the top. They've done all these things to Manafort. They've not only brought cases in Northern Virginia, the Eastern District, but they've also brought the cases in Washington, D.C. They're trying to try him in 2 separate districts. Eventually that would be combined, but they're doing everything they can to break this man. And so far, and I've told you this before, Manafort's not breaking. They may break him financially, but he's not breaking. And so these arguments that these judges have been making, that we've been making here too, people, well, nobody's going to go for that, nobody's going to go for that. I hope they do go for that, which is also why I've made the point about the President of the United States standing firm on the Constitution too, and standing firm on that Department of Justice memoranda. Now, rather than me repeat it all and so forth, I said it all on Hannity last night, what, for the 15th time? And we're going to play this from the Fox News channel because I think it's important. I want to get it out there. It's out on the internet. It's being played by Fox, in addition to having been originally played, and it wouldn't make any sense if here on Levin TV I ignored what I said. So we're going to play it. I really want to press it. I want to push it out to as many places as we possibly can.